Hey there, Cancer. Welcome to your reading for the week of May 5th. This week, you have this Angels Are Watching card. It says there's nothing to worry about. Angels are watching over you. You have this Divine Intervention card. It says, here you go, another one that says, Angels are working behind the scenes to assist in the miracles you've requested. So there you go. Whatever you've been asking for, which has been coming up for you for like weeks now, Cancer, that you're like asking for something, or you feel like, or you have been asking for something, and now it's like you are being guided towards it. So that, of course, is a good thing. I keep having Gemini pop into my head for some reason, so I don't know if like some of you are dealing with a Gemini, or maybe you have a bunch of energy in Gemini in your chart. So I don't know. It's really not much of a message, Cancer. I just keep getting Gemini popping into my head. So there you go. Take it or leave it. You have the Two of Swords, the Four of Pentacles, and the Queen of Wands. Two of Swords, you know, I'm pretty sure you always get the Two of Swords with me. And the Two of Swords is like this or that thinking, but really she has this island behind her. And that island behind her is like a third place. You know, I always say this is my card of third place solutions. You know, most people think that everything in life has like this or that solution. But, you know, really, if you come up with another way of doing things, usually that's where genius happens. So I would be looking for other solutions to things that you're dealing with or doing in your life. And I would be more flexible with the Two of Swords. The Two of Swords can also say, like, are you listening to your intuition? You know, she has this blindfold on, and it's like, clearly your intuition is trying to get you to do something. And it's like, are you going to do it? I don't know, Cancer. I'm not you. But I would say I would be listening to your intuition. The other thing I'm getting here, and you also have the High Priestess, which is very intuitive. So your intuition is like really on fire. But I'm wondering if you are, like, I feel like you kind of are being intuitively guided by your angels, or, you know, your guides or whatever. But maybe you're just not acting on it, or maybe you're questioning it or something. I don't know. So there you go. You have the Four of Pentacles. Four of Pentacles is kind of like a card of stability. Now, you have the Tower, but the Tower is showing up in the good stuff, so I wouldn't worry about the Tower. But this could also, you know, it could also say that you have had a Tower moment in the past, and now you are, like, I kind of feel that Four of Pentacles is saying you have rebuilt your foundation, and so now it's time, like, your foundation is strong enough. Maybe that's a better way to put it. And now I feel the universe wants you to start, like, building upon the foundation that you have built for your life. Like, it's time to go do other things, you know? And so sometimes I think we can get stuck in that grunt work, you know, especially if we're, like, building something or doing something. You know, we just think to ourselves, like, oh, there's more paperwork to do, or, you know, I got to do all these, like, little things. I think, like, I just get this feeling that if you're trying to build something, you have the Eight of Pentacles here as well, which is kind of like diligent work on something, that, you know, this is saying, like, no more grunt work. I feel it's time to start doing, like, big picture, you know, bigger activities, bigger things, especially for those of you in work or business. But this could be anything. It could be you working on yourself, it could be you working on your health, pretty much anything. You have the Queen of Wands. Yeah, it's like, what would you do if you were 1,000 times more bold, is the question here with the Queen of Wands. Like, if you were 1,000 times bolder, 1,000 times stronger, like, how would you be acting? And then that's how you need to act with the Queen of Wands, which I know is scary, because maybe you're not 1,000 times bolder, but I do think you would be surprised by your own strength, right? And the Queen of Wands, I feel, is saying, like, you really need to act as if you are, you know, 10 times more bold, or 10 times more, you know, whatever you want to call it. You know, she needs to be bold and assertive. She's also being asked to do something where, you know, she has to learn as she goes. And the sunflower that she's holding in her hand points towards the sun. And guess what? You have the sun right next to her. So, you know, you definitely could be, like, working towards the sun, or moving towards the sun, or towards something that makes you happy, or something that could bring, like, joy, peace, happiness, enlightenment, you know, all sorts of good things into your life. And that's what I would be doing with the Queen of Wands, is, like, moving towards happiness, moving towards things that bring you joy, or even moving towards your desires as well. But you're clearly doing something, or being called to do something, that you are, where you're going to have to, like, learn as you go, like I said. So let's see. With the Two of Swords, you have the Page of Cups. Page of Cups could be a person, but doesn't have to be. Page of Cups can be a dream. You know, he has this fish in the cup. Some people say that fish is his pet. other people say that fish doesn't exist. It's part of his imagination. What I say is I don't care. I think that our job with the Page of Cups is to make sure the fish doesn't jump into the water behind him. He needs to ground that fish in reality. So whatever you're working on, I feel it's time to like make a move, start building, start doing the things you need to do to solidify something. I think I've said this to you before, Cancer, but it's almost like you're making something legitimate. It's almost like you're making something more real in your life. And, it's like you have the foundation, but now it's time to do like the other things that will kind of create a reality for yourself. And that's what I would do with that card. With the Four of Pentacles, you have the King of Cups. Could be attracting a water sign for sure if you're looking for love. So I'm pretty sure you've had a water sign all up in your business for a while. So if you want love, there you go. Could also be an earth sign. You basically have everything here. It could be any sign. The King of Cups is also about your emotions. He has very deep emotions, and he is sitting in these choppy waters, but he is perfectly fine. So he doesn't allow external circumstances to affect his emotions, is really what the card says. And I feel a lot of you could be just taking control of your emotional state, which will probably make you more successful in life or probably just help you. With the Queen of Wands, you have the Emperor. Yeah, it's like bossing up energies. This is probably why I've been saying Gemini, I've been thinking Gemini, is because Gemini always gets the Emperor, and they seem to be bossing up. You are born right next to Gemini, so it makes sense that you could be going through some of the same things that Gemini is. And, really, I think you are being asked to, like, take control of something. Like, even the King of Cups, he needs to, he kind of is taking control of his situation. And the Emperor is all about bossing up and being a boss of life. And that doesn't mean that you have to have a business. It could just mean that you're taking control of your health or something else. There's clearly like an opportunity that you could be acting on. He has his armor on underneath his cloak here, and the armor says, he's sitting down, but the armor says he's ready to go at a moment's notice. So when an opportunity presents itself, he takes it and he makes it happen. You could also clearly be attracting love here. It could be an emperor or an empress, whatever, take it how it resonates. Next, in the area of what's coming in for you, you have this Listen card. It says your inner child has something to say, and you have the Sun, which has your inner child on it. We'll talk about that in a minute. You are the child. You are Cancer, which is children. You have this card. It says you can do hard things. Yes, it's not impossible as it may feel. Two of Swords, right? Two of Swords. She might be, and also the Eight of Swords. Those two cards, both those ladies are making a bigger deal out of their situation than it needs to be. So, I definitely feel something will be 1,000 times easier. I feel like I said this to you in a reading like a couple months ago, Cancer, but I get this feeling. It's like, you ever do something where it's like you don't want to do it and then you do it and then it really wasn't a big deal? It's like, that's what I feel. It's like you're making a bigger deal out of something than it needs to be. Definitely a good time to be more playful. We'll talk about that in a second. You have the Ace of Wands, the Hermit, and the Sun. The Ace of Wands is a passionate new beginning. So Ace of Wands is out with the old, in with the new. Definitely could be some sort of passionate new beginning or something that you're moving towards that's inspiring you, like the Sun with the Queen of Wands. The Queen of Wands moves towards her desires and inspirations. The Ace of Wands represents your desires and inspirations. So I feel something is like exciting you or inspiring you, and that's what I would be working on with this Ace of Wands energy. The Ace of Wands, I always say, is just a spark. It needs more wood. You have to keep putting wood on the fire. So I feel that for, if this is like an idea or a dream with that Page of Cups, that it's like you have the spark, but you just need to start, taking action, putting wood on that fire to get the fire to grow. You have the Hermit. I don't know. I have a feeling all three water signs are probably going to get the Hermit right now. I feel like water signs are kind of like in hermit mode in some ways. Is it a bad thing? No. I think water signs have been like healing, kind of like processing information as well, especially with Neptune going into Aries. Neptune was in Pisces, so water signs were definitely all affected by that energy, and you were all asked to think about your big impossible dream, and now you're kind of like coming out of hermit mode after thinking about it for a while and thinking about taking action. So everything that we said, basically. The thing about the Hermit is I wouldn't stay stuck in hermit mode. It's very tempting, I think, for people. This is according to Chris's crappy tarot here as well. This is not accurate tarot, but just I have always felt with the Hermit that it's like very tempting to stay in isolation after going through something difficult, And, I think that his next step is that he has to come down from the mountain and shine his inner light, or he needs to show the world what he's made of. And maybe it's time for you, Cancer, to show the world what you're made of, right? And I would do it. You have the Sun, a lot of happiness. It's like whatever you're desiring is going to bring a lot of happiness. Now, the Sun is a very good card. It makes the whole entire reading more positive, but, we have this child here, and we have this wall behind the child, and the wall behind the child kind of represents the wall that we all put up against our inner child, like where we say things like, I can't do that because I'm an adult now, or whatever. And, I do get with the Queen of Wands, it's understandable with the Queen of Wands because she doesn't know anything. She doesn't know. She has to learn as she goes. So she might desire to do something, but she could be afraid of like what the outcome will be. But clearly it will be the Sun. You are literally pointing towards the Sun here. With the Ace of Wands, you have the Nine of Swords. Yeah, it's like time to make up your mind here, Cancer, is what I feel. And yeah, I'm like totally calling you out here, but I feel that the Nine of Swords says, are you just going to sit in this energy? Nine of Swords is a round energy where it's like you've thought something to death. And now I feel it's time to make your decision on whatever you've been thinking about for a long time. And I feel you will be very happy that you did, clearly. With the Hermit, you have the Six of Swords, which you have twice in this reading. Definitely seems to be an improvements reading as well. Like there could just be general improvements. I'm pretty sure in your May reading that you had the Six of Swords as well, or there was something about general improvements. Again, this is another card that probably all three water signs will be getting a lot between now and the end of the summer, basically, because just, as far as the astrology is concerned, I feel like water signs are literally making improvements. So it fits in very well with what I see going on in the sky. With the Sun, you have the Wheel of Fortune. Yeah, this will change your fortunes. So if whatever is making you think happy thoughts at this time, because it just feels like a thought to me with that Queen of Wands. It's like you think about something, it makes you smile, makes you happy. It could be like a dream, a goal, a wish, a person, whatever. The Wheel of Fortune says this will change your fortunes. So, definitely make it happen. Next in the area messages from your future self, you have this discovery card. It says there is still an essential piece of your puzzle that you have yet to discover. A missing piece of information must fall into place before you will know your next steps. But you're not going to discover that piece of the puzzle unless you start, is what that should say. You have this you can't make this up. You have this decision card. It says the first step to achieving your dream is committing to making them a reality. Yeah, I think you have to commit to making your dreams a reality by taking action with the Eight of Pentacles. Eight of Pentacles is very straightforward. Eight of Pentacles is straightforward, diligent work. It is like taking the steps to make something happen. Plain and simple. So that's what I would be doing with these two cards. You have the High Priestess, the Eight of Pentacles, and the Eight of Swords. High Priestess says, trust your intuition. Could be a very intuitive time for you. I think it is, for sure, for all water signs, really. So, if you're like wondering, like, oh, was that a sign, symbol, or synchronicity? The answer is yes, it definitely was with the High Priestess. The High Priestess also encourages us to look into mysteries. She has that tapestry behind her, and she doesn't know what is behind her, but she might have to look. So I think it would be a good time to get those answers. I think with Neptune moving into Aries for water signs, that water signs should be careful of getting stuck in the fantasy, right? And Neptune will retrograde back into Pisces this year. And so, again, I think that water signs, it's okay to fantasize as long as you have the fantasy of whatever it is and you take one step at least towards whatever it is that you're fantasizing about, because you should, because I said so, right? You have the Eight of Pentacles. Eight of Pentacles, straightforward, diligent work. Again, this is going to be your best friend. Again, speaking of water signs, but especially you, Cancer, right now, if you're coming up with like a crazy complex solution to a problem, probably not. If you come up with a solution that is just straightforward, diligent work, then probably that's what you should do. So I kind of feel the Eight of Pentacles is about like just working on one thing at a time. He is working on one project, one thing. And he's almost done, right? He only has one more pentacle to complete, and then he will be done. That's it. So I feel like just not overcomplicating things is what the Eight of Pentacles is saying. I would also like, as far as the fantasizing is concerned, it's like sometimes when we fantasize, I think we tell ourselves stories and we come up with like these crazy stories in our heads. And I feel like the Eight of Pentacles is saying like, don't do that. Just keep things like straightforward, simple, and to the point. And, I think that's going to be the best thing for you, including in love as well. It's like in love, you might be coming up with this like crazy love story. I feel like it's saying, no, like just keep it simple. If you overcomplicate it, then it's going to be overcomplicated. And, and nobody wants that. So I would just keep it simple. You have the Eight of Swords. Eight of Swords is only seeing one way of doing things when there are many. So I feel that you should be opening up to all the solutions that exist, all the different ways of doing things. And you will be happy that you did. So I would be opening up to solutions, opening up to different ways of doing things. And, again, I think if you do that, things will go very well with this Eight of Swords energy. Again, she's only seeing one way of doing things. She also has this blindfold on, so she's not trusting her intuition. And, this reading is definitely saying it's, time for you to kind of tap into that intuition of yours. With the High Priestess, you have the World. Now, two things here. There is a theory that the High Priestess has her back to the world. Like she is shutting out the world, and so that she can listen to herself, which is, not really a bad thing. So, if you need to take some time to quiet the noise and be able to listen to your own intuition, that would be a good thing. The Eight of Pentacles is also an achievement or success. So you could be achieving something. The Eight of Pentacles, he is very close to finishing what he's working on here. He only has one more pentacle to go, and then he will be done with whatever he's working on. So a lot of you could be very close to achieving a goal here with the World. With the Eight of Pentacles, you have the King of Swords. King of Swords can be like, number one, could be a person you're not talking to. So if you want love, you're going to have to open your mouth, obviously. The King of Swords can also be like mentors. And if you are working on something, this can be a great card for working with a mentor. But, it could be a mentor that's dead. It's like there are books that exist where the author is dead, but, you might consider them like a mentor, And so, like, learning from mentors, learning from people who are wiser and smarter, learning from people who have been there and done that, whatever it is that you're setting out to do, that could be a very good thing for you with this King of Swords energy. And so that's what I would be focusing on is like, listening to mentors, learning from wise people, all that other good stuff. With the Eight of Swords, you have two cards here. Well, what do you know? You have the Sun and the Star. So amazing, number one. We definitely want the Star in a reading with the Tower, even though the Tower is coming up in the good stuff. So the Star can represent healing from a Tower moment. The Sun, all the way across here, basically, we practically have the Sun with the Queen of Wands. So it's like you definitely want to be moving in this direction towards the Six of Swords, or towards like improvements or towards things improving. I think being more playful with the Sun would be a very good thing as well. I also get this feeling with the Star that you need to believe that something is for you. It's like sometimes it's like you might be fantasizing about something in your life, and you might be thinking like, oh, I don't know if that fantasy is for me. But she's pouring this water onto the land here, and that water comes from the pool of universal consciousness, and that water is flowing out into the earth. And what it represents is that what's possible for one person is possible for everyone. So even if you think that you can't do something, which I think you had a card that basically said that in here, even if you think you can't do something, you can, is what this card says. And you should as well with the Star card. Next, in the area of the good stuff, you have this Do Nothing card and this Cleansing card. You definitely could be healing. Again, like I said with the High Priestess, she has her back to the world. I definitely don't think that you shouldn't do nothing. I don't even know if that was proper English, what I just said, but, I feel that you should be doing something. But the Do Nothing card, I feel, is saying, like, take care of yourself with this Cleansing card. But, it's definitely a reading that is asking for action. So, again, I think that Do Nothing card is more about, like, those moments where you need to take care of yourself. You have the Tower, the Five of Wands, and the Six of Swords. I really feel that you have, like, rebuilt your foundation with the Tower card. Again, it is coming up in the good stuff, so, the Tower and the good stuff can represent, number one, finally, like, facing reality and avoiding a Tower moment, which would be good. The other thing is, like I said on that Four of Pentacles, I feel like you're, like, building on top of your foundation now. I feel like the Tower is saying, like, okay, The Tower happened like in the past, and you have your new foundation, Four of Pentacles. Now it's time to like build on top of it. And so I think, whatever fell apart for you in the past, it could be anything. It's like you're building a new tower, which is pretty much what we do in life. Is the tower gets reduced down to its foundation, and then we always rebuild it, hopefully stronger and better, right? By the way, also, the Tower in the World can be a move. So some of you could be thinking about moving. You have the Five of Wands. Five of Wands in the good stuff can say that you are either overcoming competition, and it is definitely popping into my head that, like, let's say you're trying to get a position at work or you're trying to get a raise or promotion. I would go for it if you haven't already, because, you could stand out above the competition. This could also just represent learning from the competition, which I'm pretty sure I said to you in your most recent reading. There was something in there about you needing to like look at the competition and try to do things to stand out above the competition. I think that would be very good with that card. You have the Six of Swords, moving on to calmer shores, so definitely improvements. Like I said, I mean, it's kind of boring to me a little bit because it's just like seems to be a little bit of a water sign thing, that water signs are being led to calmer shores, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's definitely going to be leading to improvements and changes, but, like I said, it's like a very common energy, I would say, at this moment. With the Tower, you have the Six of Pentacles. Six of Pentacles could be how you avoid a Tower moment, right? The Six of Pentacles says, and maybe you have a habit of over-investing in things, and so instead of doing that, maybe you have learned to plant a couple of seeds in anything new that comes into your life and to see if it's going to grow or not, right? It's like maybe you are learning that I can invest a little bit of time into this, that, and the other thing, and I can try a little bit and see if it grows, and if it grows, then I can make the full investment. And I kind of feel like you're getting smarter about that. I feel like you're getting smarter about investing, like how you invest your time and how you don't waste time, right? And I think that would be really, really good. With the Five of Wands, you have the Six of Wands. Yeah, Six of Wands could be like a victory or success coming in for you. So definitely could be some big successes coming in with that Six of Wands, or big victories. You really could be, and again, how funny is that with the Five of Wands, right? The Six of Wands would be overcoming competition. And so, like I said, a lot of you might think there's competition for something you want, but it looks to me like you are kind of standing out above the competition. With the Six of Swords, you have the Three of Wands. Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be a Cancer reading without the Three of Wands, honestly. I mean, Three of Wands says, what are you waiting for? And I think I say that to you in every single reading now. And the Three of Wands is a card of expansion. The other funny thing about the Three of Wands is that when, the story of the card is that the water here is golden in color, so he thinks that he's looking at the desert, but when he looks closer, he sees those boats on the ocean. So the Three of Wands can say that you're looking at, maybe in the past, you were looking at an opportunity and you didn't think it was an opportunity because you thought it was a desert. But when you look closer, you realize it's water where things can grow, or you can get on those boats and go on an adventure. You have the World. You also have the King of Cups. The King of Cups has this boat right here, and the boat on the King of Cups represents venturing into the unknown. Three of Wands. The boats on the Three of Wands are going into the unknown. This guy has no freaking clue where those boats are going, and he's standing where he has always been. So, it's like there's some sort of like big adventure, I feel, coming in for you here, Cancer, and it could be an adventure of, literally anything. But I would, get on those boats, go on the adventure, go do something, fun or enjoyable or whatever you want. You have this Mountain Road card. It says you're on the road to success. Yeah, it looks really good here, Cancer. Like whatever you're building, looks very, very solid. So I would continue to build, and clearly you are on the road to success. So I would keep moving. You have this June card in the Scissors. It says disappointment in some affair. So, there could be some disappointments. I don't know. I think it's something that water signs need to get used to. It's like things are not going to, like I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Things are not going to ever, like for the rest of your life, basically, things are not going to go according to plan. Like the chances of you thinking like of something that you're doing and then also having that thing end up going exactly how you thought are like zero, right? Is this a bad thing? No. If you're brave, it's not, because you might have to do things you never thought you would ever do in your life to get to where you're going, but it will also be a much more fun adventure. So it's not like this isn't necessarily a bad thing. You have this dark man. It says dealings or relationships with a man with dark complexion or hair. And you have this weeping willow. It says family sorrow. So you could be dealing with a man in your family, and there could be sadness around it. So yeah, I really have nothing to say about that other than, if you're going through that, you probably would know. You have this peacock. It says, beware of great pride. Yeah, we still have Mars and Leo. I tell people, with Mars and Leo, I would just, be careful of, cocky people, arrogant people. Like, it's one thing if a person is, like, bold and assertive and they actually can back it up, right? So, I'm a big believer if you got it, flaunt it, right? So, people, you might meet a person, maybe they seem cocky, but if they have the goods, like, what does it matter, right? I would only be careful of people who are cocky, who can't back it up, and that's what I would avoid. You have this barrel. It says, you feel something is lacking in your life, perhaps love, money, or goals. Yes, I think the whole entire reading basically says you're kind of like filling in some gaps in your life, especially if you feel like you're missing something. But this looks really good, Cancer. I do like where this is going, so thank you for being here, and definitely enjoy your week.